The arena roared. The alien champion raised his fist. Her knees buckled. Bones cracked. The crowd cheered, until the air grew cold. A shadow stepped onto the sand. A voice, calm, human, said one word. They called it a contest. She called it survival. Zayla of the Solari stood alone in the pit, blood trailing down her chin, lungs rattling with each breath. The Drexian war beast before her stood 8 feet tall, plated in obsidian armor, its fists like battering rams. He had broken 2 of her ribs already, maybe 3, but she didn't fall. She didn't cry. She was trained for this. Born in war, raised in a matriarchal warrior caste, Zayla knew how to survive. What she didn't know was that today she would die, and that the galaxy would learn what it meant to hurt a human's mate. Dignitaries and generals sipped venom wine, amused by the show. She lasted longer than most, hissed one ambassador. Shame. She's quite pretty for a Solari. They didn't know her name, didn't know her rank, didn't care that she was bonded, didn't care that her bondmate, her husband, was not from her world. The Solari ship had crash-landed during a supply run near the Mars-Europa trade corridor. Zayla had been the only survivor. Broken leg, punctured lung. A month away from the nearest Solari relay, they found her in the snow, dying. Or rather, he did. Captain Jacob Rourke, Earthborn, Terran infantry, retired, widowed, quiet, alone. He didn't say much. But when he looked at her, he saw her. And when Zayla finally spoke, she said just one thing. If I survive, I owe you a life debt. She coughed blood. The Drexian raised its arm again. The audience cheered. Wagers soared. Cameras zoomed in. She closed her eyes, waiting for the final blow. And then, everything stopped. A streak of light tore across the clouds, too fast for planetary defense to react. A single-drop pod crashed into the sands, cratered, and hissed open. Out stepped a man. No armor. No weapon. Just boots, dust, and rage. Jacob Rourke. The Drexian turned, confused. This is private Drexian business. Jacob didn't speak. He walked toward Zayla, kneeled beside her, and placed his hand over her heart. She was alive. Barely. She opened her eyes. You came, she whispered. You didn't scream, he answered. That scared me. Then he stood. Who hit her? He asked the arena. The Drexian snorted. She volunteered. She lost. Who? Hit. Her. The crowd laughed. I did, the champion said. She was weak. She fell. That is the law of the pit. Jacob nodded once, then moved faster than any Drexian had ever seen. The Drexian swung. Jacob ducked. One punch, human fist, unarmed, cracked the Drexian's knee backward. Another, to the throat, dropped him gasping. The arena gasped. This was an augmentation. No cybernetics. No power suit. Just raw human strength. And something else. Something worse. Jacob didn't kill him. He let him breathe. Just enough to whisper. You hit my wife. He snapped the Drexian's jaw sideways, dislocating it cleanly, and dropped him like a sack of stones. Tens of thousands of aliens stared. The cameras zoomed. The pit master stammered. This is illegal interference. Jacob didn't care. He walked to Zayla, picked her up gently, and said, I warned you. Hurt her, and I'd come. He turned to the stands. You think humans are weak because we smile. You think we're soft because we grieve. But we remember what's ours. The human known as Jacob Rourke has become the subject of interstellar debate after his illegal intervention during the Drexian arena trials. The footage, viewed 4.8 billion times, has sparked fears among galactic powers about human retaliation and loyalty behavior. Zayla lies in stasis. Healing. Breathing better. Jacob sits beside her, staring into space. A soldier again. A protector again. He whispers. Next time, call me sooner. She smiles, barely. Absolutely. Let's continue with. Last cycle, a Solari woman was beaten in a Drexian arena. Her husband, a human, came for her. With no armor, no weapon, he broke the champion's spine. The galaxy called it a war crime. She called it love. 100 delegates argued over holoscreens, each louder than the last. He violated Drexian sovereignty. He was unauthorized. One human can't threaten our balance. He struck a champion. He shamed a bloodline. A tall, scaled Jurican delegate slammed a claw on the table. We should remind the humans of their place. But then a quiet voice cut through them all. And what place is that? Everyone turned. A human stood calmly at the entrance. Jacob Rourke. No guards had stopped him. No one saw him enter. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't bring a weapon. He was the weapon. What place do we hold exactly? Beneath you? Behind you? Or right beside the ones we protect, no matter what it costs us? The room fell dead silent. Jacob had been deployed to Ravanax 4. A hell world. Acid rain. Cities turned to ash. A human colony had been hit by a Drexian rogue faction. They didn't negotiate, didn't warn, just landed and burned the children first. Jacob's unit responded. They didn't just hold the line. They erased the attackers from existence. No prisoners, no mercy, no survivors. That day, they weren't called soldiers. They were called monsters. The galactic media had a name for it. Jacob was listed as Commanding Officer, Crimson Zone Delta. His name never left the war logs again. A Drexian ambassador sneered. You've always been unstable, Rourke. A butcher. You proved it again in the arena. Jacob's expression didn't change. I didn't kill him. He's still alive. And humiliated. So was my wife. But she didn't cry. That stung. A murmur spread through the chamber. Zayla watched the tribunal broadcast from her recovery bed. Her hand trembled slightly, still healing. But her eyes? They burned with pride. Her mother entered, a tall Solari warrior matron. You bonded a Terran. The others whisper. Let them whisper, Zayla replied. He didn't run. You made him feel. Humans feel too deeply. It makes them dangerous. Good, Zayla said. That's why he's mine. Jacob stood before a hologram of his former commander. You broke 50 treaties, Jake. They punched my wife. You know what this means, don't you? You've drawn a line. Publicly. Jacob stared out the window, stars reflecting in his eyes. Good. It's about time they remembered what happens when a human is pushed too far. Somewhere, across the stars, someone else had seen the footage. An older alien, cloaked, scarred, watched the replay again and again. Jacob Rourke, the voice whispered. The Crimson Ghost returns. He tapped a control pad. Send word. To everyone. The human is active. And he just declared war, for love. Jacob sat by Zayla as she slept. Machines hummed. Her breath was slower now. Healing. He gently held her hand. They want me to apologize. She opened one eye, smirking faintly. Are you going to? No. I'm going to remind them why humans don't lose what's ours. She laughed softly, then whispered. Then I guess they've already lost. The galaxy thought the Crimson Ghost was a myth. A human monster born in war, buried in shame. But he didn't die. He fell in love. And when they struck what was his, they woke something they'll never be able to put back to sleep. Encrypted signals flood the darkness. Broadcasts, warnings, threats, all spreading one name like wildfire. Rourke is active. He's not military anymore, but he still has contacts. If he calls in favors, planets burn. Contain him, or run. A shadowy figure receives the message and activates a neural projection. The image of Jacob Rourke appears, still, silent, dangerous. Begin Operation Ghostlock. Human leaders convene under the Dome of Stars. Admiral Grace Harkon speaks first. One man has destabilized the peace with Drexus, Solari, and Jurican sectors in less than a week. He didn't use a fleet. He didn't fire a shot. He used fear, said another. And love. He made it personal. A Terran diplomat lowers his voice. What do we do about him? Harkon pauses. Nothing. You don't do anything about Rourke. She leans forward. You wait. And hope he doesn't call the others. Jacob moves through a ruined corridor. Blood and ash everywhere. His team is dead. Only his recon drone is online. Inside a child's shelter, he finds 3 bodies. One breathes, barely. He applies a sealant, wraps her in his jacket, and whispers. You're safe now. The drone's recorder pings. Subject rescued. Female, age 6. The voice of command buzzes in. Exfil not possible. You'll die down there. Then I'll die holding a life I saved. The line goes dead. Rourke doesn't move. The camera cuts to black. A former Solari captain watches the tribunal footage. He smirks. Of course it was Rourke. An officer approaches. He's unstable. No, the captain replies. He's aimed. That's worse. Zayla stands for the first time in days, her strength returning. She flexes her hand, stronger now. Her healing is nearly complete. Jacob enters with tea. You're walking again. And you're infamous again, she replies, smirking. It's trending. Half the galaxy wants to execute you. The other half wants to hire you. He chuckles. Same as always. But then her smile fades. They'll come for you. Let them. They'll come for me, Jacob. To hurt you. Jacob's jaw tightens. Then we stop waiting. A beacon activates. A signal only one type of person would recognize. Not mercenaries. Not soldiers. Ghosts. A woman stirs from deep cryo-sleep. Tattooed arms. Cybernetic eye. She blinks, sees the signal. Smiles. Elsewhere, on a desert world, a man walks barefoot through sand and war machines. He stops, lifts a small comlink, and says, "The Crimson Ghost just called." On a shattered moon, deep beneath old bunkers, a data splicer raises his head. They all say the same thing. We ride again. The Drexian High Lords gather. Furious. Embarrassed. Vengeful. We want his head. Earth refuses to hand him over. Then we burn Earth. But another voice interjects. General Kovacs, older, wiser. You think one human beat our champion? Fine. You think one human warned us first? Then fought without armor? And walked away? He slams a talon on the table. That wasn't an act of war. That was a mercy. Jacob stands on the deck of an old, nearly decommissioned human warship. It once bore his unit's name, Crimson Dawn. He runs his fingers along the cracked hull. His voice is quiet. I told them I was done. Zayla walks up beside him. You lied. He smiles. No. I just forgot what they'd do to you when I turned my back. He looks at her, truly looks, then whispers. I will not forget again. The Crimson Ghost has awakened. Multiple rogue veterans of Ravanax have been sighted leaving hiding. No fleet was deployed. No threats were issued. And yet, entire planets are requesting peace talks. All because one human said, "She is mine." All to kill one man. But they didn't understand. He wasn't alone anymore. He never was. When the Crimson Ghost called, the dead rose with him. They sent an army. He brought ghosts. 6 capital-class Drexian warships punch through FTL, locked on Earth's outer defense grid. They claim it's a peacekeeping response. Everyone knows that's a lie. On board one ship, a Drexian commander addresses his crew. We are not to engage unless provoked. But if the human resists, terminate him and the Solari woman. His second-in-command replies, he is just one. That's what scares me. Jacob Rourke stands at the center of a circle, not of soldiers, but ghosts. Men and women once declared dead. Veterans. Outlaws. Some with scars across their minds. Some with cybernetic limbs. All loyal. All dangerous. They're bringing warships, one woman says. They think we'll beg, another grins. Jacob's voice cuts through the tension. No begging. They touched what's mine. And they forgot what it means when a human fights not to win, but to protect. He looks around the table. We don't fight because we're ordered. We fight because we choose to. They all respond, one word, like an oath. Crimson. A single old Terran cruiser emerges from slip space, alone, blocking the Drexian fleet's path. The Drexians laugh, until they see the signals. For more ships decloak, ghost ships. Unregistered. Dark hulls. Then 20 small assault crafts drop from hyperspace. No emblems, no IFF tags. Human eyes only. These are not official Earth military. They're the Crimson Network. Each one survived wars that others didn't. Each one carries scars and fury. Who are they? Unlisted signatures. These aren't military. Why aren't they attacking? Because they want us to make the first move. The commander gulps. Stand by, broadcast open hail. We speak first. Jacob stands at the helm. He receives the hail. The Drexian admiral's voice crackles through. This is a Drexian matter. Surrender now, Rourke, and we will spare your bonded. Jacob smiles coldly. You hurt her. That was your first mistake. And your second, he adds, leaning closer to the mic, was thinking I'd be alone. He cuts the transmission. Ready the old cannons. Sir, those are obsolete. Then they'll never see it coming. Human ghost ships fire EMP blasts that disable targeting arrays. Crimson Dawn launches zero-oxygen pods with exosuit warriors, boarding specialists. One human soldier punches through a viewport with an exo-enhanced gauntlet and rips through 2 Drexians before they even react. A female sniper, half-machine, takes out a Drexian captain through reinforced steel. Rourke himself crashes through a hull breach with 3 others, and they take an entire bridge in 40 seconds. Zayla watches the chaos unfold from a tactical display. They called you ghosts, she whispers. But you never died. You were just waiting. She grips a plasma blade. Her wounds may not be fully healed, but she's never been helpless. Tell Jacob, I'm joining the dance. Jacob confronts the Drexian admiral face to face. You wanted war. I wanted fear, the admiral growls. And I got it. No. Jacob replies, walking forward slowly. You got us. He disarms two guards with a flick, catches a blade midair, and pins the admiral to the wall. I'm not here to kill you. The admiral snarls. Then what? Jacob turns to the open bridge viewports. I'm here to show them what happens when you strike a human's heart. Outside, dozens of Drexian vessels begin to pull back, surrendering. The crimson ships hold fire. The admiral stares, confused. You didn't destroy us? No, Jacob replies. Not yet. One man, one promise, one war stopped. Who are the crimson ghosts? Zayla of Solari breaks silence. He fights for love, not blood. The Galactic Council votes 211 to 1 to censure the Drexians and publicly recognizes the Crimson Ghost Network as an independent peacekeeping force. Humanity doesn't gloat. They simply watch. Because they know they'll have to do it again someday. Zayla leans against the viewport, Jacob behind her. You made them afraid again, she whispers. Good, he says. They should be. She turns, touches his chest. And you? Are you afraid? Only of losing you, Jacob whispers. They kiss. Behind them, the stars are calm, but not quiet. Because somewhere out there, they whisper his name again. The Crimson Ghost rides. It started with a punch. A woman knocked to the ground. A galaxy that didn't think a human would care. But they forgot. Humans don't just love. They fight for it. They die for it. And if you hurt what they love, they'll make the stars remember your name in fear. A new monument rises, a fusion of Solari stone and Terran steel. It doesn't honor war. It honors bond. A statue of a Solari warrior standing beside a human soldier. No weapons, no violence, just joined hands. Zayla and Jacob stand in front of it as a crowd watches in silence. Reporters whisper, "That's her, the one they punched. That's him, the one who brought the ghosts. They changed everything." Zayla speaks to delegates of 212 worlds. I was not helpless. I was not defeated. But I was struck, not just with fists, but with silence. She turns to look at Jacob, standing at the side, arms crossed. And when my husband came for me, it wasn't war he brought. It was reminder that humans do not forget, that love is not a weakness, that we do not kneel when hurt, we rise. A Jurican general interrupts. You brought fear into our chambers. Jacob steps forward, calm but cold. No, we brought truth. You want peace? Then protect what matters. Because if you touch what we love again, we won't bring a fleet. We'll bring ourselves. She was shivering on his couch. Alien. Broken. Scared. He gave her tea. Listened. She asked, "Why did you help me?" He answered, "Because I saw you. And because someone once helped me." One of Jacob's old unit members, Callan, approaches. "So we're not at war." Jacob smirks. "Not yet. You still wear the ghost mark." "It's not for war," Jacob says. "It's for warning." Callan nods. The Drexians pulled back on 3 colonies. The Juricans sent reparations. "They're learning," Jacob says. "And us." Jacob looks out the viewport. We rest until they forget again. Zayla walks a garden lit by alien moons. Jacob sits nearby, sharpening a blade out of old habit. "Do you miss the war?" she asks. "Only when I dream." "And now?" He turns to her. "Now I dream of you." She sits beside him, rests her head on his shoulder. "You know they still whisper about us?" "Let them whisper." She looks up. "You know you changed the stars for me?" He touches her hand gently. "You changed me." A young alien girl raises her hand. "Teacher, what was the Crimson Ghost?" The teacher smiles, activating a projection of Jacob's face. A human who reminded the galaxy that love is not weakness, that loyalty is not naive, that you can punch a warrior and still survive. But if you punch the one they love, you may never see another sunrise. He was a man who wanted peace, a soldier who laid down his gun. But when they struck her, he stood back up and reminded a galaxy built on power that nothing is stronger than a human's love.